What's up, you guys? Welcome to Two Gays Take On. Today we are talking about gay stigmas. I am Dev, and I'm gonna try and be so serious.
I'm Jake, and you totally took my thunder away. I was gonna say I'm that leftover resin in the bottom of the Dawn dish soap bottle.
We're just like on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I want to take this topic very seriously, but I didn't know we were going to be serious going.
Hold on, redo it.
Okay.
Welcome to Two Gays Take On. Today we're talking about gay stigmas, and I'm Dev, and I'm probably the kinkiest ever.
I'm Jake, and I'm the resin in the bottom of the Dawn dish soap bottle.
There. Do you feel better?
Yeah.
Because now
we're on the same page now.
Yeah. But I really do want to be serious. I just think of it at the top of my head of what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. This is very planned. We're very professional. Definitely no errors made.
Yeah, if you're looking for professionalism, a gay podcast probably is not the place.
This, especially with us. I'm sorry. We're a disaster.
The amount of times we've probably already talked about buttholes and stretching them, probably so much. So much. Sucking dicks. Oh, so much.
So much. Okay, but speaking of sucking dick, now we should probably talk about our topic.
Oh, shit. You call us out. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Take a seat, take a sip. I'm here to spill that tea.
All right. That was a really long sidetracked intro. I'm sorry. But, so gay stigmas, there is literally so many of them out there.
I always think of Kim Chi's song.
The Fat
Femme
Asian.
Oh.
Kimchi is from season...
I don't remember.
Is it 7 of Drag Race?
Yeah.
RuPaul's Drag Race is a wonderful show with drag queens, and you should all watch it. But Kimchi had a song in the finale called Fat Femme Asian that basically just...
It was a banger.
Yeah, it was a banger, but it also pointed out that there's more to the gay body than just the standard slim twink, you know? She identified with exactly what she was. She knew she was fat. She knew she was femme. She knew she was Asian. All of those are minorities in the gay community. And she's like, I don't fucking care.
I'm gonna do me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that dance too.
I think that was really iconic.
It was.
I think unless you are white and really slender, it's very hard to be...
It's hard to feel wanted.
Yeah.
You don't sign on and all of a sudden get the muscle, like the gym bunnies who are like, you want to fuck.
Yeah. But not only that, I feel like a lot of people, because you're not, the standard for gay beauty, that there's a lot of people out there who would just want to use you or be with you for just one night because they think that you're, less of a person. I have honestly had that in my experience where when I was bigger and I lived here last time, I had a lot of guys that did not want to spend time with me. They just would want to fucking never talk to me again.
I feel that though. I feel like I have that experience a lot, but I also have I still have issues about my body, and I think it's because of that, because you feel very much ostracized if you are not packing a 6-pack, 8 inches, 6'5",
yeah,
chiseled chin. I could go on for days.
Let's start with body image, because that's a huge stigma in the gay community. I think that should be the basis of where we start. But I feel like I'm not a big guy right now, but I would say I'm an average build, I'm pretty proportionate. I am 6 foot and wear a 34 waistline. And I still don't really feel comfortable within the gay community. I still feel like my body is not up to standard, which is so ridiculous because there is no standard.
There shouldn't be.
Well, I feel like there is.
I know. It sits in the back of everybody's head all of the time.
Yeah. It's a subconscious standard that we set for ourselves based off of what we view. I think based off of Grindr, Scruff, gay porn.
Oh, for sure.
because that's all you see. You don't really have a lot of normalization of gays in movies and TV. Like, so that is your expectation for gay men, is that they're buff and sexy and, you know.
Yeah. Like I remember I've always been into otters. Like and otters are I guess when I started like looking otters were like a little chubbier. Like they were had a little muscle on them, but they were still a little bigger. And like now otters are basically just like buff hairy guys.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. What changed?
I don't know. I think that is a different sub community to the gay culture. Like, I feel like otters are still the slimmer bear type where they're hairy and, they have that very athletic type build, but they're
Yeah.
not buff. Um, I feel like if people refer to otters and they're husky, or maybe they're thinking of like cubs or something. Because
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
cubs are kind of like bears, but they're not really fully bear. It's like they're
Yeah.
chubby. Uh, but actually, there's a lot of positivity to body image too within the gay community. Like, there's tons of people out there that are into bears or daddies, um, chubbier guys, like anything.
Yeah. I feel like now that I'm older though, I get like a lot more.
Messages?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like I get hit up more now and I have kind of I guess a cub cub-ish body.
I
I
would
don't
say
know.
cubbish.
Um I've been called daddy already like
Weird.
yeah. And I get hit up by people who I was like, "Whoa, like I never would have been able to talk to you in the past."
Well,
Sexual resurgence.
here's a question. Age is viewed as such a huge denominator in the gay community. Like, once you're over 30, like, that's the
Gay
hill.
death.
Yeah, it's like gay death technically. And you're kind of viewed as like not an immediate option for dating or anything. Like,
I feel like that might just be our generation.
right.
Because like I've spoken to younger gays and they were like, "That's not a thing. I've never heard of
And that's what I
that."
was going to ask you is like, because you're a little bit older than me, do you find in your experience that like that's kind of coming to an end and now
I
people are
think
kind of
it's
into like the older people?
yeah,
Or do you
but
think it
people
never
still
was
think
a
older
thing?
people is like 35, you know,
Yeah.
not like 50.
Do you think it ever was like a stigma? Like, I definitely feel like as a
Oh, for
younger
sure it
kid,
was like for quite a while. But things have changed so much in our lifetime already.
yeah.
It's absurd.
We live in a generation where like technology has advanced so much, and because of that,
People
we
are
have
more
so many
open.
more advancements in life, like
Yeah.
where you have immediate access to everything.
Yeah, because I still have to like. People don't understand that even at my age, like when I was growing up, like it being gayness, being gay, like was not something that was talked
Oh,
about.
for
Like you
sure.
couldn't like go to your parents and ask, "Mom and Dad, what does gay mean?" I remember there was a Friends episode when Ross dated the lesbians, and I asked my mom what a lesbian was, and like her whole demeanor shifted, and she didn't know what to say, and she stuttered.
Yeah. My family was like that too. My mom, when I think my earliest memory of her saying something was it was Christmas and someone brought up like her high school gym teacher or something. She was like, "Oh, you mean that faggot?" Like, being gay was not normal when I was growing up. Like, it was just something that just wasn't talked about. And now that we're like in the mid 2000s, you know, it's
I
it's common.
That's a big yeah.
Like, it's so common.
Especially in Minnesota, like there's so many church towns, like small church towns, and
Churches too are so
everybody
open.
everybody in my town was Baptist. That was the majority was Baptist people, and I went with friends to the Baptist youth group. I was into religion when I was young. I totally can stand behind it. Um, But there was one night where it was free question and answer at youth group. You know, you put the question in a barrel and then you just pick it out, and the youth pastor in this case, would read the question and answer it.
Mm-hmm.
And the gay thing came up, and he talked about how it was a sin, and like in the Bible, God would punish it.
Yeah.
And you had to give it up, and you could renounce it. And it killed it for me. I didn't feel safe. I didn't want to go anymore. I was scared of what would happen if people found out.
But a lot of churches are so accepting now.
True,
And
which I think is wonderful, because that drove me away from God for
and
a
I think
long
that's
time.
another gay stigma, is that a lot of people believe that you can't be gay and religious. Like standard Christians, you know, not to call anyone out, but a lot of people out there still think that homosexuality is sin. Like, even though they may treat you and love you like thy neighbor, like that's the Bible, but they still believe that deep down.
They won't
They're,
like stand behind you in battles for like marriage equality and stuff like
yeah,
that.
but there's also tons of people out there who are Christians and do believe that gay marriage is perfectly normal and like acceptable. But me as an atheist, like I don't believe in anything. Like I'm just fucking here. I'm gonna be buried in the dirt when I'm dead.
I totally believe in something after. I believe in God. I don't know if I stand behind everything. I have a very complex relationship with the Bible. And I feel that religion is something totally beautiful. I think extremists take it to a point that it doesn't need to go. But having something to believe in and stand behind, somebody that will love you no matter what you can possibly do in the world, and that they will make things right.
Yeah,
I can totally see how that's a beautiful thing.
I agree.
Live your best life.
Would you say you're more like you would identify as like a Christian, or would you say you're like spiritual? Like
I would say spiritual, but I wouldn't even go as far to say it, that I'm a deeply spiritual person, or that I practice it in
right,
any like
but you
way.
believe something, like something's out there that is greater than
Yes,
this.
100%. I'm still praying for reincarnation, but like into a Pokemon world.
Yeah, I would love reincarnation, but this is so pessimistic. But I'm atheist. Like I literally don't believe in anything. Like
I think that's a little bit of a bummer.
yeah, but I think it's wonderful that you know you're gay and you didn't have to push religion or like some belief of a higher power out of your life. Like it was never taught to me to do that. I just never was interested in religion. I didn't care. And now as an adult, like I've explored my religious side and just don't really believe in anything.
I think the turning point. So I went to a private college. It was Catholic. It like the nunnery and the chapel and the, where do the monks live? What do they call that? The priory. Abbey. The abbey.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google. That's
I'm
terrible.
not good
I
with
went to school there.
geography.
I'm not good
Don't
with geography.
Heads up, don't ask me anything about geography. I can't even name all of our 50 states.
But
Dead serious.
see,
And I live in America.
I live in America. So you would see monks around, and brothers and sisters and nuns and stuff all over the place. It was very normal. The church was attached to it. You could go to the church. And part of the college degree was a required like couple theology courses. And I had the coolest theology teacher. She looked like she was from the Little House on the Prairie. She had hair, long straight blonde hair down to her feet. She was a total nerd. She would tell us things in like Lord of the Rings metaphors while talking about the Bible.
That
And
is ridiculous.
She got me to read so much of the Bible and books on top of that. I went to her office and got books. And we got to go see the St. John's Bible. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's like the most expensive
But don't ask
reproduction
me
of the
anything
Bible,
about geography or religion.
of the Catholic Bible. And I think they had John on display. I walked in. It was so beautiful. I actually cried a few tears. I was overwhelmed. And from that point on, I gave in. Like, I let myself be more open to religion and the church.
That's wonderful. I love that. See, I wish
I
I had
know.
an experience like that. Like,
I know. I don't think I've
honestly,
ever told anybody that.
this is going to sound very white privilegey of me, but when I was like, I don't know, 13, 12, my parents and I went to Italy and we went to the Vatican and like got blessed and bought holy water
Wow.
and yeah,
You got to meet the Pope?
yeah. And I didn't think anything of it.
Whoa.
Like, it was just, I don't know.
That's wild.
I didn't think it was anything. Like, I didn't have that
Yeah.
connection to the religion where like it was so powerful that like it brought me to tears or like it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Complex.
Yeah.
That was a super long tangent.
I feel like religion is something just to be discovered on oneself and not taught. Like, I feel like you
True.
can't teach a religion.
I'm okay if parents bring their children to church and introduce it to them.
Oh,
I
for
don't like hearing about people who are like, I don't care how much you don't like it, like get in the fucking minivan, we're going to church.
Yeah.
That's too much for me.
What are other gay stigmas?
That was a long one.
Yeah, but religion is so important in so
Yeah.
many lives. Like, I feel like that's such an important topic to talk about.
It is.
Because
So
when
we
you
did-
feel alone, you can find someone that loves you in God.
True. But also be careful. Don't go crazy.
Yeah.
So we talked about being bigger-ish.
Yep. And religion in the gay community. What about the stigma of like, this is going to be really, really bad to talk about.
Oh, good.
But the stigma of that if you have HIV that like you can't have sex or that like you're dirty.
That's so unfair. I don't think it's gotten any better. I think people just don't talk about it as much.
This is really bad, but as a kid, I feel like I was so uneducated on HIV and STDs that like anytime someone on Grindr would message 17-year-old me or 18-year-old me like,
Ooh.
yeah. Like, and they were like, I'm HIV positive. Like, my immediate response was, bye. Like, I would not think twice. But, like, as a grown adult now, like, I feel so guilty.
I've thought
Like,
about that a lot.
So guilty.
This all started because I watched Queer as Folk, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, even though I don't want to say it was particularly progressive.
It's decent.
For the time it was. It also promoted some bad stereotypes, but
yeah.
You know. I forgot what we were talking about.
HIV stigma.
Oh, because the one main character
we
from
just
Queer
smoked
as
you guys.
Folk. That one character from Queer as Folk, his doctor husband was HIV positive.
Yeah.
And I thought about if I would be okay dating an HIV positive person. And after a very long deliberation, I decided I would be okay. You can protect yourself, and
For sure.
that does not take away from who you are as a person.
And I feel like I've learned that over the years. Like, I've thought about it, and I'm like, I would have no problem. Absolutely none.
Yes. It is not a zero-sum game.
You need to
that
research
positive
it.
mark does not mean a negative mark on you as a person.
Yes. You need to research it. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to know that you can be protected with a partner. There's ways to prevent it now, like PrEP. And what was the other one?
Condoms.
What are those? I've never heard of that. That was awful.
I'm sorry. Rubbers are important.
Yes, they are. They really are.
Is there another medication?
I think there is another medication.
I feel fearfully inadequate to talk about PrEP. I know nothing about it, which
PrEP
makes me sad.
I can actually explain you a little bit.
Explain you a little bit.
Yeah, I can sit down and
I'll
explain
it
to you.
to you.
So PrEP is a new drug. It just recently actually got approved and can be prescribed to people for like the past 2 years, I think, or three.
Yeah.
Before that, it was in its clinical trial. It's not proven to prevent it. It's proven to reduce symptoms, and it's proven to reduce your chance of contact with the disease.
Still use condoms.
Yes. So it's not 100% effective, but it does prevent.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew that. I've had people who are like, I'm on PrEP. We should raw. And I'm, no.
It doesn't mean you're
I can't.
100% safe.
Yeah, I can't. Condoms are a must. Safety first. I mean, I've made some poor choices in my life. Thankfully, they have not impacted me, but
I feel like that stigma, though, that's such a hard thing to change within the gay community.
I am not qualified to come up with a solution either.
We need to solve the HIV stigma within the gay community right now.
Within this 35 plus minute podcast. It's a revolution. It starts now.
It's just really sad. Like, I used to go on Grindr late at night and talk to people. Like, not message them and be like, you want to fuck. Like, I would just talk to them.
Yeah.
And there was one guy I remember who had HIV, and like, I told him I wasn't looking for sex because I was young, you know. But I didn't blow him off, and we talked, and he told me how lonely it was. He said that a lot of people won't even give him the time of day. He doesn't put it in his profile because it scares him.
Yeah.
Because he's scared that no one's going to message him.
That is so tragic.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
It's really sad.
I don't want to cry. I need a few more episodes before I cry.
It's okay.
I just want people to be okay. I want everybody to love each other. I'm just a hippie at heart.
This is
Flower
a safe
power.
place. This is a safe podcast. If you are bigger, if you are transgender, bi, gay, whatever, we don't care.
Oh, I love nothing more. And I think they think I'm ridiculous, but at work, I have so many female student workers. And I make sure to tell them at meetings and stuff, like, you are a strong, empowered woman, and I don't care what you have to take on today because you got it.
I love that. That's the difference between us, though, is that, like, you treat your coworkers like that, and I, like, ask my coworkers to meet me on the train tracks to kill ourselves together. Like, there's a fine line difference between us.
It's a different atmosphere. You know, a college versus
I love
coffee
that.
shop.
I don't know. What are
I told
other
you,
gay
though,
stigmas?
I have to kind of, like, raise them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, teach them normal things. Sometimes. Love them, though.
What are other gay stigmas? Like,
I am panicking. We've taken on some pretty heavy stuff. I'm floundering.
you're shook?
I'm shook.f@aol.com. We did bigger. We did, what have we talked about so
religion
far?
and HIV stigma.
Yeah.
This isn't really a stigma, but it is, I feel like, a stereotype.
Yeah.
So what do you think about gays who smoke weed? I feel like that is an entire subculture within the gay community.
It's gays who do drugs, though.
That's true.
Weed is separated off, but there's also tons of people on Grindr and stuff who are still like, I took ecstasy
I'm a
tonight.
fucking meth pig.
Yeah.
Not that I'm, like, dissing anyone who's doing meth, but, like, I literally have gotten those messages saying, I am a meth pig.
I'm not dissing people who do meth, but please, you need to love yourself. Don't do that to your
Agreed.
body.
But I feel like there's the subculture of gays who smoke weed, and that's, like, its own little gay subculture. And then there's another gay subculture that, like, is addicted to poppers and meth. And
yeah, for sure.
That's the whole term of, like, party and play. But I feel like that gay stereotype of, like, gays using drugs has become a valid thing, especially now in this generation.
For sure.
But I also feel like drugs are becoming a huge problem across the U.S. Like,
legalize marijuana. I'm going to say that.
For
I
sure.
don't
I
care.
stand behind that.
Yeah, legalize marijuana, make money off of it, tax money, holla, go Colorado.
Yeah, since the churches aren't.
Um,
Not a diss on
but
religion.
other drugs, I wish that runs deep though. I'm totally conspiracy theorist on that. It goes all the way to the top.
It does though. There's a whole nother conspiracy that I can explain to you, but there's basically a theory that the government tells us what to listen to and what to watch, and the stuff that they do tell us to watch and listen to, like nowadays, is about, fucking heroin and drugs and stuff. And what's America struggling with? Heroin and drugs.
That's put a pin in that.
Yeah,
We can talk about
it's a
that
whole
a different
conspiracy
time.
theory, but it's pretty wild.
True, but I don't know. I don't know what to say about that because I'm kind of weird
So,
about, like, I don't want to have sex while doing drugs and stuff.
oh, for sure. But let me ask you this: you probably started smoking a little bit later in life than I did. Before you smoked, if you had encountered a gay who had smoked, would you be into that, or like, would you be like, I don't
Probably,
know?
but I was also very lost. 18 to about 23 was a mess. If I got attention, I would give into it, and I would just do whatever the other person wanted to do. Easily.
That's fair. I feel like I was kind of the same way at that age. Pretty lost. I think everyone's lost at 18. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to know what you want to do with your life when you still have to ask for permission to use the bathroom? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, take it in baby steps. Fuck. But also, the older I get, I'm like, shit, time is limited. Every day goes faster.
Here's a really important gay stereotype that I want to talk about. So I work at a coffee shop, and there's a stereotype that if you're a male and you're a barista, you're gay. That's not true at all. I mean,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
Most of my male coworkers are gay, but
that's not the point.
But yeah, there's always a couple guys who aren't. You can't group them all in together. A job is a job.
I feel like that goes deeper though, because that's still riding upon the premise that being assumed gay is somehow negative.
I agree.
When you uncover the onion layers, like Shrek.
That's a whole nother stigma, that being gay is negative, that it's a bad thing.
It is. It still pervades our culture.
Oh, 100%. That was crazy.
Yeah.
You have to buy me the entire world.
The entire Taylor Swift discography limited edition.
Oh, she's dead to me.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Life changing.
I'm really sorry, but I threw away all of my Taylor Swift stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Gone are the days.
I'm not into her. I like punk rock now.
I'm a rock kid. Reeling back though.
Yeah. I can't even think of what we were talking about, because the Taylor Swift had you so fucking shook.
Yeah.
Oh, that being gay is bad.
Yeah.
It totally invades our society right now, and especially under the Trump presidency, that Mike Pence is his vice president and heavily supports against the gays.
I almost cried when he got elected, and I thought that everything that has been worked for by people in our community was going to be taken away in a breath.
And it is! It is being taken away. Stay strong, America. We're in this together.
We got it!
We literally are in this together.
We're all in this together.
Stop.
Zac Efron.
Stop. Is that because we just talked about High School Musical?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I hate that.
No.
Being gay, though, is not a bad thing at all.
No.
And also, most importantly, is not a choice.
I agree.
Same with being transgender. It is not a choice. Being bi, being a lesbian, nothing is a choice. You are born the way you are. From a very young age that something is different. Like, you don't know what it is.
It's all pheromones and shit.
Yeah.
It's biological.
You just you can't identify it because your young brain can't process
I
what
totally
you
believe
are.
that gaydar works too in the whole pheromone thing. Like, that
Oh,
you
for
can
sure.
smell. Like, somehow genetically you just know. Because I have guessed people out of nowhere and been proven right. And I was like, damn. See, I told you.
What about the gay stigma of having sex with more than one person in a night?
In a night?
Yeah.
As in
Like multiple times? No.
Like a threesome?
No.
Multiple partners? Or like...
Different people at different times.
I say get it. I feel like I would just get tired.
Like, I've lived that fantasy, and you know what? It is fucking fun. As many as you can take or get.
I know what are you talking about? Like, have you seen sketchy sex? Porn videos?
No.
Oh, it's like the total frat boy house where there's like a couple guys who just
like
get
frat
used
X?
over and over and over.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm glad we're comfortable bringing that up. But where it's just like the total slut fantasy, like you're just being used and abused by a bunch of hot guys over and over. I've lived that fantasy. I find that shit super hot. Ursa Boots.
That's his cat.
That's my cat.
She is scratching at the window.
Of my porch. She wants to go out on the porch. You can't.
Not right now, Kitty.
Not right now, Kitty. Stop.
What are other gay stigmas that we should talk about?
I don't know. Slut shaming? Yeah, don't slut shame.
That's a whole nother topic.
That goes with what we were just talking about.
That goes along with, like, rape culture. Like, that is a whole deep systematic thing.
I don't approve of it.
I don't.
If you want to go out there...
I am a huge slut. I'm guilty.
A slutterfly. I gotta bring merch. Gotta get that brand on there.
I'm dead. I say do whatever you want. It's your body. As long as you're safe and you're respectful to yourself.
If it feels good, you want to do it, you feel safe, do it.
And even if you don't feel safe, struggle for air. It's fine.
Struggle. That's terrible. No, safety.
Have you ever been choked, though?
Establish a safe word. I have been choked, but I don't think I've ever had anybody choke me as much as I want them to. Saying that out loud feels really dark.
I've been, like, struggling for air before, like.
But I'm also total into the face fuck fantasy where, like, you can't even breathe.
No.
I don't know what it is about that.
No. That terrifies me. Maybe because I'm not good at that particular thing. But I would literally die. Probably because I'm a heavy smoker and I fucking sound like Amy Winehouse.
It's a dive of chocolate, darling. I live for that voice.
Same.
You know, 1920s starlet in a broken down, dilapidated attic wearing one of her dresses from her golden days, smoking one of those long cigarette holders. And she's telling a story to the grandkids of when she met, like, Judy Garland. And she's like, I remember that stupid slut always stole my roles. I fucked the director. Now why don't you run down to the 7-Eleven and pick me up a pack of Misty Lights?
Oh, no. No, not the Misty Light.
Yes! Icon!
Oh.
I just live these really elaborate fantasies in my head and make people.
I love that.
She's wearing like what are those, like the Great Gatsby dresses?
Should we wrap up? I feel like
we talked about a lot. We can always recover in more depth.
Yeah, I don't really know any more gay stigmas. Like,
no, let us know if we're wrong about things. I'm totally into being corrected about this stuff.
There's plenty of stereotypes, but that's like a 20-minute topic that we could just like go back and forth.
Yeah, always open to critique. Let us know what you think about the things we talked about.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's all we need to do. Seek
His
out
cat's
resources.
Going crazy, so we should go on the patio with her.
Yeah, I have to go love on her.
We're coming,
really
kitty.
She needs to explore the wide open doors of my 5x3 deck.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Be safe. Make good choices.